Sheffield is great, and you should know. And while this channel is specifically an Olympic weightlifting channel, weightlifting could benefit immensely from an event like this. The IPF Sheffield Powerlifting Championships is a powerlifting event held every year in Sheffield, England.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock!
But it pretty much differs from every other powerlifting competition. It is designed to encourage world record attempts. To put simply, the winner of Sheffield is the person who has the highest percentage of their category's world record total, squat plus bench plus deadlift, across all athletes competing regardless of weight class. For example, if Jonathan Kaiko breaks his category's world record total by 5%, totaling 105% over his category's world record, and Jesus Oliveira then breaks his category's world record total by 6%, totaling 106% over his category's world record, Oliveira would win. The person who wins Sheffield is not only the best in their weight class, but the best across all weight classes. What makes it more interesting is the number of lifters who can qualify. Only 24 lifters in total, 12 male, 12 female, can qualify. The way they select their lifters is based on their percentage to the world record total. You need to have totaled greater than 95% of your category's world record total in a previous IPF sanctioned event in order to qualify, with some other qualifications needed, of course. Only the cream of the crop in powerlifting can qualify for Sheffield. Money is also a thing. Together, they have the largest prize pool for a powerlifting event, totaling 445,000 English pounds, with players being able to earn up to 45,000 pounds. Each time you break a world record, you get 5,000 pounds, a decent amount of money. Now you're starting to see why Sheffield is such a great event. A Sheffield-style event solves the problems that powerlifting and weightlifting events have. In today's weightlifting world, events have become more tame. Winning continental or world championships isn't really what it used to be, especially considering non-Olympic categories. There are plenty of instances where winners of heavier categories will be beaten by lifters 4 categories below. Looking at you, Genetoko, at Euros this year, there are plenty of instances where the best lifters don't compete at Worlds or Continentals. For example, China didn't send their A team to Asians or Worlds this year. In these cases, these events become less competitive. Categories can be really uncontested at this point, having clear leaders who stand above everyone. Ri Sangum, Carlos Nassar, Li Wenwen are all but unstoppable in their weight classes. Li Wenwen in particular has never really been challenged, and as such, we have never really seen her push her limits. It's been almost 4 years since we last saw her break a world record. Outside of cases like this year's World Cup, where lifters needed to push themselves hard to qualify for the Olympics, if you sit on top, there really isn't much of an incentive to break world records. If you're a viewer, it makes for a worse viewing experience knowing that someone is easily going to win without trying. Not only that, but these events are spread out across 10 days with multiple A, B, and C sessions. Most of the lifters competing you probably have never heard of, in which newer viewers may be interested in only the top 3 or 4 lifters per category, if not only some categories anyways, meaning they're only interested in far less of the competition than is provided. An event like Sheffield solves these issues. There are no multiple days with lifters you probably don't know. It's a day and that's it. There are no cases of lifters being unchallenged. The best across all categories are competing against each other. There is no reason not to go as hard as possible. If you don't try to break records, you will lose. Imagine a battle not just between Rahman and Risky, but between them, Carlos Nassar, and GigaChad. All of them kind of being forced to go for world records. That is something I guarantee most people want to see. Not only that, but it helps the IWF move away from the Olympics as the main event in weightlifting. While the Olympics will always be the main event, recent scandals have put weightlifting status at the Olympics in jeopardy. While I hope the day never comes, I personally think the IWF really needs to start thinking about its status without the Olympics. An event with a prize pool like Sheffield can convince lifters not just to lift for an Olympic medal, but for other reasons as well. Without the Olympics, there needs to be more financial incentive to keep the current roster of lifters lifting, with an event that can take the place, in some sense, of the Olympics. A Sheffield-style event can be this event. But what's more interesting is that it would take the sport back to where it was. They had events specifically designed for breaking world records, like the Samboy Chips Cup. They gave lifters a 4th attempt, specifically to break world records. Weightlifting events used to be more of a spectacle, and now they're not. But they could be. Sheffield also helps generate more interest in other powerlifting events. If you want to qualify for Sheffield, you need to have totaled very close to the world record total in other IPF events. In the mad rush to qualify for what some have called the Super Bowl of Strength, It's in a lifter's best interest to set a world record, to make it harder for other lifters to qualify. While this self-perpetuating cycle of world records is nice to see, it makes the sport very marketable. It comes at a disadvantage. In pursuit of world records, it encourages doping. The higher the world record, the more likely doping is used to get a person to those records. Doping isn't as important in powerlifting. If all the best IPF lifters got caught doping, nothing would really change. While the IPF's reputation may take a bit of a hit, I doubt that most people would leave it. The dopers would be banned, and a new crop of powerlifters would rise in their place, eventually overtaking them. But in weightlifting, if every top lifter was caught, it would most likely result in the sport's removal from the Olympics, which would be a death blow to the sport. But despite this, I still believe an event like this would be a good thing for the sport. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you and have a great day. Update, as I'm writing this, SBD, the company backing the current Sheffield event, is now partnered with the IWF. And they have an intention to go and to create a Sheffield-styled event for weightlifting sometime in the future.